Greetings and salutations. And we're back with Diablo 2. It is a brand new season, so a new season means a new hardcore character. The question is what am I going to do? I don't really want to do a one talent challenge, because every single time I do that, I end up going into one talent and then just, it kind of drones on and on to see if I can do it. Like, with a sorceress, for example, it would be very difficult to do a one talent challenge. So sure, why not? I'll do a one talent challenge of a sorceress. Won't take very long. She'll be dead before Act 2. So I'll name her Corpseress. Yep. She's gonna die. Yeah, I can almost guarantee it. I honestly can almost guarantee it. Because there are certain things that are immune to fire, certain things that are immune to lightning, certain things that are immune to frost. So you can't really pick a tree and have it work. So let's take a look at what we are gonna do. Maybe Frost Nova? That would be AoE. Static Field. Could do Inferno. Everything would burn quick. But then it kind of locks me into having things like Blaze and so on. And this gets damage per level of warmth, but I don't get that because I only get one talent. I could technically just go Frost Nova, but then I can never get Blizzard because it requires these prerequisites. So this would just cap out, and then I'd be in trouble. So there we go. What if I do that? Charge Bolt. Because if you think about it, Charge Bolt gets damage from lightning. I can go straight into the lightning ability right after it. And then after that, I can go into
Evil beware.
Chain Lightning. And hope that I don't run into any lightning immunes. Unlikely. But as always with one talent challenge, I try to do things, and I try to also be philosophical. And I can't say I don't feel like I'm being philosophical. But it's one of those things where you don't really want to spend too much time considering and contemplating the game. Oh. Something I will say. Somebody on Twitter apparently had this idea that I was saying that GTA, Grand Theft Auto, they're not sequels. GTA 2 is not a sequel to GTA 1, and GTA 3 was not a sequel to GTA 2, and so on. And he proceeds to tell me that the GTA games are indeed sequels. That one is about the death of the American dream, and one is about the rise of cocaine usage in America. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, okay, well, how is that a sequel? It's not like one of the characters in one of the games all of a sudden becomes in the next game. And what they're doing is, I basically called GTA 6 a giant nothing burger. Pretty much. And so now they got all upset because I called it a giant nothing burger. Because all it is just GTA 5. I hate to, I don't really hate to be that guy. I love absolutely poking holes in the frothing fan base that exists. I love doing that. Sitting there and basically saying, yeah, this game's going to be absolutely horrid. And I love doing that. And people would say, well, wait a minute, you're still a fan of this game. Yes, but you see, I'm not sitting here defending the storyline of the sequel, right? Because Diablo 3's not really a sequel. The storyline doesn't really track that well. Yeah, it kind of picks up where Diablo 2 left off, but not fully. So, I wouldn't even call Diablo 3 a sequel. Of course, people would be like, well, then what is it? Well, it's an addition to the game. It's like Diablo 2.5. Let's go with that. And then Diablo 4 is not even remotely close to a sequel. It's just kind of off in its own little world somewhere.
Not enough mana.
Yeah, I put all my points into Vitality because, dear God, the Sorceress needs it. And that's the thing, is, like, my opinion is, if you're going to make a sequel, make it be a sequel. Don't call it a sequel if it's not. And then I made the analogy, it's like, it'd be like if Godfather 2 took place in the 70s, and then Godfather 3 took place in space.
I need mana.
I mean, yeah, basically what they're saying about GTA, 4 is that it takes place in a different time frame from GTA 3. No kidding. That's why the cars are different.
I need mana.
That's why the cars look like they came from, like, the 1990s. And, the early 2000s. And then you take a look at the ones we have now. So it's basically sort of like a playful retelling of American history. It's not like some big...
Not enough mana.
I don't know. It's almost like this... Oh, didn't want that. Oh, well. It's almost like members of the fandom are desperately trying to justify their game being... It's going to be that massive epic hit. Everybody knows it's going to. Ha, 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 ha. And they're trying to justify it ahead of time because they know that everybody's going to get out and everybody's going to try to downplay it and kind of kick it in the teeth. To me, there's nothing new and thrilling about the new Grand Theft Auto. Not at all. It's just Grand Theft Auto 5 with a new coat of paint. That's it. And of course, everybody would say, that's just a simplistic... That is the most simplistic way of looking at it, and so on. Probably. Second. That is probably almost guaranteed it's the most simplistic view of the Grand Theft Auto series. Then again, I don't think that there's much complexity in a sandbox game. It's not like it's some like riveting masterpiece. Okay, folks? I mean, everybody's gonna sit there and be like, oh my god, it's the greatest game ever made. It's not. You want to know what made Grand Theft Auto 5 notable? I'm gonna say it right now, and everybody's gonna immediately want to grab the torches and pitchforks and go and, burn the ogre. Grr, how dare he say such a thing? Oh my god. Simple. Here's what made Grand Theft Auto 5 what it was. Online play. Because if not for online play, Grand Theft Auto 5 would have kind of just been another installment into the Grand Theft Auto franchise that would have faded into obscurity after so many years. Just like 4. Just like the Ballad of Gay Tony. Just like San Andreas. You get a few memes off of it, sure. But it fades into obscurity. Because there was nothing noteworthy. There wasn't. Right? And then, outside of the memes, what do you have? You have just a bog standard game. But to be perfectly honest, a bog standard, sandbox game. What made it stand out was the fact of GTA Online, the online play. Because then everybody started role-playing a character. Oh, I want to be this guy, and then they would play that role. And then you had other people playing different roles, and then you had basically RP servers set up with a whole gaggle of friends all trying to do specific things. And it's like the community built the game into what it was. It wasn't the game building the community into what it was. It was somebody took an idea and ran with it. And when they took an idea and ran with it, sky's the limit. Now, can you do that with every single game? No. But like in Diablo, for example, if I want to give a comparison that's apt, you get into Diablo, they had the Iron Man mode, where level 9 hardcore characters would get together and duel out in Bloodmoor, winner take all. And it was cool, because you'd have level 9s out there dueling, and it was a whole subset of people. And that whole subset of people, they kind of sat there thinking, you know what? You know, they made their own community in the background. Now, the community they had made in the background really carried the game further than the game itself.
Not enough mana.
You had very few people that actually stuck around to play the game after newer games came out. You had the die-hard people that played it, and then you had some of the Iron Man people, and you had also people that were like, oh man, I have to be #1 on the leaderboard, and so on and so forth. You had the niche players that were still playing it. But when you have a community that brings more to the game than it takes away, those are the people that expand the game into something new, into something different. In order for that to happen, you need a game that can build a community. Not to be that guy, but Grand Theft Auto just doesn't feel like that game to me, right? Now, don't get me wrong. There's probably a whole lot of people that are like, ah, yes, well, we can have this in the game, and we can have that in the game, and you could do that. You could do that with almost every game. But it's like, if people would just look at Rockstar games objectively and say, well, wait a minute, they're not really adding anything to the game. They're not. Right? And people would say, well, what about this? What about Diablo 2? You repurchased Diablo 2 and then you purchased the Warlock class. Very true, I did. But you know what they added to this game? Outside of purchasing of the Warlock class? They added it so that it seamlessly runs in Windows 11. So that it doesn't require you running it in compatibility mode. It doesn't require you running it on an older machine. That's what they brought to it. And they brought over crossplay. So if I have this and then I have it on the Switch, I can play it on the Switch. My character cross progression goes right over. And it has single player. That's something that Diablo 3 didn't have. Which is why they made the Diablo 3 Apology Edition. That's the Switch edition, by the way, for Diablo 3. The Diablo 3 Switch edition is the one that I call the Apology Edition. Because it's like, ah, yes, well, this game was supposed to have a dive roll to get out of the way of things because it's insanely, it was insanely hard for the Switch players to get out of the way of things, so they added a dive roll. And then they said, ah, yeah, so we've also given you offline play. The one thing they took away from you from online play. Because apparently they realized, wait a minute, everybody liked online, or everybody liked offline play. Weird how that is.
Not enough mana.
Who'd have guessed maybe a player wanted a single-player experience? Kind of difficult to kind of wrap your head around that, huh, Blizzard? Nevertheless... people soon realized that the game, the game doesn't always need features added to it. Like, it does in some cases. Certain games do need features. Other games do not. Obviously, people are going to grow bored of the old perennial shooters and the old perennial games that they just keep, rehashing the same thing over and over and over again. And people will get tired of that. I mean, it becomes old. Which is why you have to kind of make your own fun. You have to kind of make your own thing. Kind of like with Call of Duty, I make my own fun by doing But Will It Snipe. That's how I make my own fun. And I troll people with it, which is also fun. Because I have my teammates getting all angry with me, being like, well, why don't you play better, etc., blah, blah, blah. And I have all my opponents getting angry at me because they think I'm cheating, and it's like, well, no, I'm not. It's quite literally, it's right there. Like, I'm not. But in other cases, you almost have to have... You almost have to have a fan base that's willing to push the boundaries of a game. Because companies aren't going to. Why would a company put forth an effort to make something new when they can just rehash the same old thing and get you to pay $100 for it? And yes, they're going to start upcharging for games like Grand Theft Auto 6. And if the more people buy it, I'm going to say this right now, canary in the coal mine moment, the more people buy Grand Theft Auto 6 at $100, the more game companies are going to keep pricing their games higher. They're going to see what they can get away with before people say, too much. Say it now. Say it now to Grand Theft Auto 6. Say it costs too much to warrant purchasing. You know what I paid for Grand Theft Auto 5? It will shock and astound those around you. Nothing.
I need mana.
And people would say, how'd you get it for nothing? Epic Game Store. It was one of the free games. And it gave me like 2 editions on the Epic Game Store that one time. Yeah. Does that mean Epic can pull the support for it? Yeah, they can. Are they going to? I don't know, maybe. I guess if they're feeling frisky. But if they do, they do. No big deal. No skin off my teeth. I'm not going to sweat it. I'm not going to worry about it. If they pull, if they pull support for it, they pull support for it. But I didn't pay for Grand Theft Auto 5. And I never bought Grand Theft Auto 4. And I'm not going to buy Grand Theft Auto 6. There's no reason to. And people would say, what do you mean there's no reason to? Well, let's take a look. Shall we? Reasons to buy Grand Theft Auto 6. I inhaled coffee. I know that's not a reason. That's it. There it is. There's a list of reasons. There isn't one. The reason to not buy it is many. First off, it's going to be the same exact thing as Grand Theft Auto 5. You're going to have online play. We're going to have people going around doing RP. You're going to have a lot of players going to complain about it being 30 FPS. A game this caliber should be 60 FPS at all times. So you're going to have people complaining about that. You're going to have people complaining that the game should not cost $100. But the majority of people that are going to buy it are going to be people that want to use it as a way to blow off steam after work.
Not enough mana.
Because that's what it's there for. It sounds terrible to say that, but that's what people do. They take a look at games that are violent or potentially violent, and they say, well, you know what? We are going to get those games, and we're going to buy those games because it helps us de-stress after work. Technically true. Anybody that says otherwise is a fool. Because there's actually documented proof by psychologists proving that violent games actually prevent violent tendencies
I need mana.
more than they encourage violent tendencies. Because when they studied this, and they studied this on both adults and teenagers and kids, you know, they had them sit down and they had them play violent games, and they had them play non-violent games. And they had other ones in a control sample that did nothing. The ones that played violent games were less likely to be hostile towards a hostile act. Because they had a healthy outlet for it at home. They could just go home and play the violent game. And they could just be like, you know what? Taking out all my hostilities and aggression on these players. I don't know them from a hole in the ground, but I'm going to sit there and I'm going to do nothing but treat them like manure. And, lo and behold, what do you know? They find out that violent games are better for you psychologically than non-violent games. Shocking, isn't it? Who'd have thought that maybe having an outlet for your aggression was a good thing? Now for the most interesting part. People used to
I'll put that to
be...
good use.
They used to get out their aggression by going to the gym, right? Go to the gym, hit the heavy bag, lift weights, that kind of thing, right? Can't do that anymore. Can't go to the gym anymore. Can't hit the heavy bag, can't lift the weights. 2 reasons. 1, the gym costs more than video games as a whole. You could buy a console and play the same video game for about 6 months. Let's say you don't even buy a console. Let's say you already own the console. Not even that. I'm gonna even go one further. Let's say you buy a PC. Okay? You buy a PC and you buy a game. A PC is going to run you a pretty penny right now. Yeah, they're pretty expensive due to the RAM and the GPUs and everything. But let's say you get your PC. I'm gonna even go on the high side. Let's say it's $2,000 for your PC. $2,000. And you get your game. And as you're sitting there playing your game, you play it reliably. Some games are free, like Valorant. So you can play it and other games for free. Some free games, some non-free games. And you have your outlet, right? Gym memberships can be anywhere from $100 or can be anywhere from like $50, $60 in certain areas to $100 or $150 in other areas, depending on the gym, depending on the amenities they offer. And that's per month. So, yeah, you get the physical fitness of the gym, and you end up getting in better shape because of the gym, and you get your aggressions out because of the gym, but it costs you more in the long run. People will say, well, you could also get a girlfriend at the gym. But here we go. Now we're going to talk about the meat of the potato here. Everybody that sits there and says, well, you could get a girl at the gym. No, you can't.
I need mana.
9 times out of 10, that girl is going to be sitting there trying to Instagram something, whether it be her workout routine or some frivolous, idiotic thing filled with brain drain. And of course, if you are anywhere near her and you don't help her, they immediately point you out and then say, this is what men have become. And they blame you for it. And if you do try to help them, they say, how dare you mansplain to us? And then if you, let's go one step even further, if you look in their direction and think, should I help them or should I not help them, because you don't know exactly what they're doing or exactly how they're going to react, you're now labeled creepy because you're looking at them. So explain to me why going to the gym is even worthwhile. This is, of course, reflected in metrics lately. You're better off just working out at home using your own body as resistance. And no, that's not me giving, advice on health or anything like that. Anything of the sort. It's just my opinion. I firmly believe it's a better option to just be at home, go buy resistance bands, go buy, kettlebells, weights, and then do, what are they called? Farmer's carries? Do farmer's carries and other stuff like that to get in shape. And honestly, that's being reflected in the statistics. You look at the statistics and it says men now are more likely to sit at home and play video games than go out and meet people. And who can blame them? You walk out there, you're being judged by everybody. You say something, you're judged. Because it's interpreted wrong. Even if the context wasn't leaning that way, you're still judged. And you just really can't win for losing at this point. And people would say, yep, that's exactly because the women have crushed the patriarchy. That's not the flex you think it is. I mean that. It is. All the ladies out there that are like, yay, put those men in their place. There will come a time. Heed my warnings, ladies. Heed my warnings. There will come a time when you will beg and plead for assistance. And those calls will go unheeded. And it isn't because the men are selfish, rude, and arrogant. It's because you replaced chivalry with chauvinism. You claimed every act of chivalry was chauvinistic at root. You claimed that a man acting out of his own goodwill toward women was a plot and a scheme. That he had a deeper, nefarious meaning. You put them all in one bucket. And then you said, well, it's all of them together. We know it's all of them. And it's not. Now, it is coming back around to haunt you. In a not so distant future, you will look around and you will want the old style back. You will want the old ways back. You will want guys that went out of their way and moved heaven and earth for you. And they will be nowhere to be found. They'll have moved on to greener pastures and brighter futures. And they will live happy, and you will be miserable. And people would say, oh, what is this, some sort of prophecy like Nostradamus? No, but I wish it were. It is not a prophecy. It is a social cycle. And it doesn't take it doesn't take a genius to read through to see the forest through the trees, read the tea leaves, so to speak. It doesn't take that at all. All it takes is one person paying attention. You pay attention to it and you'll see it. Anybody will see it. Now, how can this be avoided? How can this future of miserable people be avoided? Oh, you really want to know? There's a successful formula. It's not, and it doesn't take much either. Doesn't take much at all. You have to approach them with better than average benevolence.
Yes?
That's it. That's it. Just talk to them. Treat them like a human being. Treat them like they actually matter for 2 seconds. But you don't have to believe a word they say. You could just sit there with your, head in the clouds in disbelief and not believe a word they say. Perfectly fine. That's valid. You could do that. Because I'm sure there'll be people being like, but all men lie. Well, a fair amount of them do lie, yes. A fair amount of them do. And so do women. So to think it's one gender only is stupid. I was gonna say folly, but no, it's just downright stupid. Ignorant would be a better term for it. Because stupid means you know better, but choose not to. That's stupidity. Ignorance is you don't know better. You believe what you're told. You're just buying into whatever it is they're selling. You're not even questioning it. For example, they could tell you this product makes you look 30 years younger, right? And women, by and large, will buy it. They won't look up reviews. They won't look up what the product contains. They will just buy it, and they'll immediately start slathering it everywhere, all over their face to get rid of all those fine lines and wrinkles. Because, God forbid they should age. And what'll happen? The product will give them things like lymphoma, melanoma, eczema, skin rashes, other illnesses. Because the amount of chemicals you're dumping on your face to look good isn't helping you. You want to know something? I have seen some of the best looking people in my life. And they're not what everybody out there would say is aesthetically pleasing or hot, as other people would put it. They also don't wear mountains of product either. Now, how are they the most beautiful people I've seen?
Not enough mana.
Simple. They're happy. Look into the eyes
Not enough mana.
of a woman who's happy, who's content. There are some single women who are content. But look into those eyes. Look for the sparkle. Look for that zest of life. Look for that fire of life that's in there. Right? When you find it, really look for that, because that right there is how you can tell who's the beautiful ones. The ones that have that zest for life and the ones that give you that genuine happy smile, those are the ones. Those are the ones. that look the best. Those are the ones that I would consider gorgeous. I would consider them very attractive. Because eventually, in the future, looks will fade. And when they do, because it's an inevitability, when the looks fade, what is it? What exists? The soul, the spirit. Mankind, that deeper connection. That's what's left. And it's up to people like us, and I didn't really want to get philosophical, but it's up to people like us today to set forth a new example, right? Right? And here's how you do that. It's really simple. Ladies, do not go out there into life and think that being a floozy is sexual liberation. It's not. It's being a floozy, effectively. It's not getting you anywhere. It's not doing you anything. It's not doing you any good. Nobody's sitting there saying, "Ah, yes, the woman that's over there that's been with 57 guys, I'm gonna, toss my lot in with her." Nobody's doing that. And the women will say, "Well, the body count shouldn't matter," but it does, though. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to you. It matters to us, and the reason why it matters to us isn't because there's been many others. No. Because there are some guys that are like, we don't care. Right? It's not the number itself. Because what it is it's you saying okay too quickly. That's what it is. Why wouldn't anybody invest time in you if you're sitting there going, absolutely do whatever? Nobody invests all their money into the short-term stock, if you catch my drift. And if you're a girl who's going out and you're being a floozy, you're what I like to call a short-term stock. Got that quick turnaround. Catch my drift. And of course, everybody's gonna be like, "Oh my God, that's offensive." And that's another. There. And that's the thing, is if you have that quick turnaround and you are that short-term stock, nobody's going to sit there and day trade with a short-term stock. You might get one or two that are gonna, but they're going to be interested in somebody that's there for the long term. And women hate hearing that. Because then they think, "Oh my God, I've been reduced to what? Getting married and having children?" Do you think men sit there and go, "Oh my God, I've been reduced to fighting in foreign wars and having to do nothing but work all the time to provide for my family?" No, we don't. We think to ourselves, "Boy, I really wished I had a family I could provide for." See, that's where the signal is all screwed up. Men would gladly go out, fight, die, and provide for their family and die doing it. We would. But most women today don't want to have a family. They don't even want to provide a family for the men to provide for. Women today would rather just be, "Oh, I'm out living my best life, # girl bossing all over the place." That's great. when you're done girl bossing and you're retired at the age of 60 with 75 cats because nobody wants to get near you because you're too busy being a girl boss, that they'll just kind of look at you and be like, nope, not worth it.
Good day.
And trust me, I know. I speak from experience of a man who's single. They say, oh yeah, you're single because you're a wretched lout. Ah, yes. They'll say that. Because I'm part of the older group. I have the older mindset that traditional gender roles. And people would say, wait a minute. So you have traditional gender roles? Look, I'm going to say this right now. Cooking is not a woman's thing. It's not. It's a survival skill. If you're a guy and you want to cook, guess what? That means you want to survive at the best of your ability. You want to be left with basic ingredients and say, you know what? I can make a dinner out of this. Just saying, cooking's a survival skill. Cleaning your laundry, not really a survival skill, but just kind of like a necessary thing. Guys just should learn it for the sake of learning it. A lot of guys already know how to do it. But I have that traditional mindset of, yes, you know, the men should go out and be the provider. Absolutely, they should. If women want to go out there and provide, fine and dandy.
I need mana.
But don't sit there and complain and bemoan things like, I can't believe I had to work an 8-hour work shift, blah, 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 to come home, blah, blah, da, 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 da. Right? Don't do that. And here's why. And it's going to shock you. It may shock all of you. Doubt it. But it'll shock some of you. Here's why you don't do that. Men have been doing it for years. Men have been going out, getting a job, working,
This ancient tree has an aura of magic about
coming
it.
home. And when they get home, they get a honeydew list. And then the women say, you don't know what I've been going through all day. Really?
Oh, very.
All right, so now that we've put the shoe on the other foot, and now women want to be in the workplace and they want men to be at home, okay, let's do that. I can have all the dishes done, have a meal cooking in a crock pot, and bake my own biscuits and or cookies or whatever, and have food ready for the moment she walks through the door, and have all the laundry done, folded, and put away, and still have about 6+ hours to sit down and play video games. Sure, we'll switch gender roles. I'm all for it. You want to go be the breadwinner? Go away. Go do it. I'll keep the house all maintained. Kids included. This is not hard. And it isn't. Yeah, homeschooling my nephew, yeah, it gets a little problematic. But what I've learned recently is with me being a caregiver for my sister who's ill when I can, helping out my mother when she needs help, and a whole bunch of other things, it's not difficult, folks. So if she wants to sit there and attend adult daycare,
Tristram was no
being
match
middle
for
management,
Diablo's fury.
getting on 86 Zoom calls a day, just so she could be like, I make all the money. Okay, then let me manage the finances. I'll have a retirement plan that'll be paying dividends before you retire. And that's the thing, is if there's a whole bunch of ladies out there that want to sit there and go down that route, let's go down that route. Absolutely. And why not, right? People say, wait a minute. Why would you be all for that? Because let me explain something for the crowd out there that may or may not understand what I'm getting at. She says that she wants to be the breadwinner. Okay. Then, as the party that stays at home, and the party that is going to be responsible for raising said children, I get to demand how many children I want. Watch how quickly they come running back to be Peggy Bundy. Sitting on the sofa, watching Oprah and eating bonbons. Watch the turnaround. Because then they'd be like, wait a minute, I have to carry the child? Yeah, but you also get maternity leave. Men don't really get paternity leave here. Some of them do. In certain states, they'll get paternity leave. They'll get the ability to be the caregiver and take leave of absence from their work for paternity leave, etc. Some of them get it. A lot of them don't. But let's say for example, there is none. Well, if I want to raise the family, I'll raise the family, but somebody's got to make them. I can't make them myself. So let's go take a trip down that lane, shall we, ladies? That'll be short-lived. I saved Deckard Cain. I got his gibbet.
I can't.
Okay.
Deckard Cain, get to the rogue camp.
Maybe I didn't save him. Nevertheless,
Yes.
my offer still stands. If you want to do that, I don't mind being a stay-at-home husband. Hand me the finances. I'll make sure it gets put where it needs to go. I'll make sure all the bills are paid. I'll be able to stash stuff away for future reference. And I know the mistakes that other people have made that I won't make. Not saying that I'm putting myself out there on the market, because I highly doubt there's any ladies out there that are watching this going, I'd give it a shot. Because none of them would. Let's be real. I'm in my early 40s, and I'm playing video games on a YouTube channel that's got less than 100 subscribers. Nobody's beating down my door. Reality check. But that doesn't mean that I don't find myself to be successful. Every day is a step toward success. You'll eventually get there. You gotta believe it here, you gotta win it up here. When you win it up there, you win it everywhere. So, I'm just saying, if you want to have that gender role reversal thing, ladies, you can go off and be the breadwinner, but that means the guys get to tell you how many kids they want. Because it used to be the other way around in the past. Ladies would be like, oh, I want another kid. The guys would be like, really? We're struggling to feed the 3 mouths we got. You want another one? Are you sure? So let's reverse those roles. Why not? Why not? Seems like a great time, doesn't it? Which, by the way, it wouldn't be difficult to budget. Just got to live inside your means. You need to have vehicle to get to and from work, internet, because pretty much everything has the internet now, water, electric, shelter, pay the taxes, so on and so forth, pay off a mortgage, what have you. It's not hard. And then you just live inside your means, take that rest that you have, put it in the bank, put some of it in the bank for safekeeping. Though I would suggest a credit union, because credit unions are your money, whereas banks take your money and then go poof. Credit unions, it's literally the amount you put in. They have cash on hand so that you can deposit or so that you can withdraw that day a large amount. It is literally your money. So credit unions are a better option in my estimation. However, you can put a portion of it away in your credit union bank, gain some interest that way, turn around, invest in some mid to long-term portfolio stocks, but you have to do the research yourself. You don't ever take anybody's advice. Because if somebody was to say, oh yeah, this is financial advice, it's not. Don't listen to it, right? You have to do your own research when it comes to financials. So if you're sitting there and you say, oh, like for example, if you know a company inside and out, you know their business proposal, you know that they're going to make more money, you know that their stock value is going to fluctuate, but generally go in an upward trend, you can invest in it, right? And you have to have midterm and long-term stocks. Long-term stocks is stuff you don't hawk until you're in your 60s, 80s, whatever. That's your retirement nest egg stuff. Midterm stocks is stuff you want to hold on to for 3 to 5 years and let go of. You watch the market and then you let go of it when you think it's time. Don't ever hand your money over to a money manager, because 9 times out of 10, the money manager will manage your money into his pocket. Most of them get paid a commission or get paid money for managing your money. And then what they do is they manage your money generally poorly, because they're getting paid regardless of how well you manage their money or how well they manage your money. So it's best to do your own research. If you want to do your own research and you want a good starting point, get the book Unstoppable Prosperity by Charles Payne. It was a rags to riches story. He grew up in Harlem to a single mother. And now he has his own firm that he manages money. But he manages money the way he learned how to manage money, because he taught himself. He didn't like working for a money management firm because they were doing it the way he didn't like. And so he's got his own firm now, and he's a bright guy. I have the book right down there. It's right down there. I've read it once. I'm going to read it again. That's where I learned how to do what I do. Well, not what I do. It's how I learned how to do what I could do. But you have to then research company stocks. However, this is the beginning of a new season, new sorceress, and this is the end of this video. I hope everybody enjoyed this video, though I guarantee you there's going to be a group of people out there that didn't. And that's okay, because it's opinions. Everybody can have them. Doesn't matter. They could go and do whatever they want. If they don't like the opinions, that's fine. Let me know. If you think I'm off base, let me know. If you think I'm over the target, let me know. Other than that, I hope everybody has a fantastic evening, a wonderful tomorrow, and as always, have a good one.